In a world where TV personalities come and go, few have managed to etch themselves into America's collective memory, like Dana Perino. While many recognize her for the poised professionalism she brought to the podium during her time as White House press secretary under President George W. Bush, there's so much more to her story. Chapters rarely told, moments hidden in the folds of a fast-paced political life. Today, her name carries weight not just in politics, but also in media circles, where she's seamlessly transitioned into the talk show world. Born on May 9, 1972, in the quiet town of Evanston, Wyoming, Dana Marie Perino grew up far from the flashing lights of Washington. With deep Italian roots thanks to her great-grandparents who crossed oceans to build a life in America, she developed a strong cultural identity grounded in tradition and values. But perhaps the most pivotal influence came not from her lineage, but from a man who shaped her intellectual firepower, her father. In a 2017 interview with Business Insider, Dana painted a vivid picture of childhood evenings spent dissecting the headlines of the day, long before most kids her age knew what politics even meant. While other third graders were glued to cartoons, Dana couldn't wait to get home to catch Meet the Press. There was something different about her even then. A spark, a hunger to understand the world. Her father had created a routine that demanded she read both the Rocky Mountain News and the Denver Post before dinner. That daily habit, those thoughtful dinner table debates, became a launchpad for the confidence she carries today. For Dana, it wasn't just about reading the news. It was about questioning it, thinking critically, and learning how to express herself without hesitation, even in the face of authority. And that confidence wasn't just inherited, it was earned. From those early years, she was preparing herself to stand in rooms few women were allowed to enter, let alone speak in. Her path to public life wasn't built overnight. She led a relatively ordinary life during her school years, eventually graduating from Ponderosa High School in Denver and enrolling at Colorado State University. While majoring in mass communication, Dana was already making waves, juggling her roles on the university's forensics team with stints at KTSC-TV and KCYM. She also chose to minor in Spanish and political science, knowing that breadth was just as vital as depth. But it didn't stop there. She later pursued a master's degree in public affairs at the University of Illinois Springfield, a decision that would quietly open doors she never imagined. Despite that impressive resume, Dana never envisioned herself standing in the White House briefing room. Her dreams, modest at first, revolved around local reporting, telling stories of real people and community challenges. But life has a way of redirecting us in the most unexpected ways. In that same Business Insider conversation, she confessed how she initially assumed she'd stay close to home, reporting for a local station and possibly covering politics from the sidelines. But something began to gnaw at her. She started to notice what she described as a recurring bias, an invisible wall built against conservatives in mainstream media. And while Dana never considered herself deeply partisan, she couldn't ignore the slant. She wasn't just noticing unfairness, she was feeling it. Still, the greatest turning point wasn't philosophical. It was emotional. One assignment in particular shattered her resolve. Sent to cover a courtroom case involving a grieving mother and her lost child, Dana circled the woman multiple times, unable to summon the courage to invade her private agony. In that moment, something clicked. She turned away from the courthouse, walked back into her newsroom, and said she couldn't do it. That same day, she called her father. He didn't scold her. He simply told her to come home. And so she did. Back to her parents' basement, where she waited tables and rethought her place in the world. That setback didn't mark an end. It became the beginning of something more meaningful. While pursuing her master's degree, Dana found herself juggling roles at CBS and WCIA, answering phones, handling press materials, taking every opportunity to learn from the inside out. Her big break came when she was hired as a staff assistant to Congressman Scott McInnes in Washington. The role wasn't glamorous, but it placed her exactly where she needed to be. Before that, she had already worked with Congressman Dan Schaefer, who chaired the House Subcommittee on Energy and Power. Those experiences laid the groundwork for a swift ascent. When Schaefer retired, Dana briefly moved to the UK in 1998, but Washington wasn't finished with her. She returned in 2001, this time with a position as a spokesperson for the Department of Justice, where she remained for 2 years, sharpening her skills in the national spotlight. So how does a small-town girl with a love for headlines become one of the most trusted names in American media? The answer is a mosaic of moments, some painful, others triumphant, all stitched together by resilience. Dana Perino's story isn't about power, it's about purpose. It's about learning when to step forward and when to walk away. And for someone whose presence seems so polished, it's the raw, unseen moments that tell the real story. And trust us, what comes next will make you see her in a whole new light. Her career really took off when she landed a position on the White House staff as the Associate Director of Communications for the Council on Environmental Quality. Yet, it was a tragic moment in history that unexpectedly pushed Dana Perino into the national spotlight. Right after the devastating events of September 11th, Andy Card, then White House Chief of Staff, recruited her to support communications at the White House CEQ. It was a pivotal opportunity that set the stage for what came next. Just a few years later, in 2005, when Tony Snow stepped down as President George W. Bush's press secretary due to health concerns, Perino was promoted to Deputy Press Secretary. She held that role from March 27, 2005, until April 30, 2007, steadily proving her capabilities under intense pressure. When Snow's condition worsened, President Bush made the official move, appointing Perino as assistant to the President and White House Press Secretary in September 2007. She would remain in that position until Bush's presidency concluded in January 2009, marking a historic chapter in her career. Despite her numerous accomplishments, most of the public remembers Dana Perino for one unforgettable incident that defined her tenure. On December 14, 2008, during a press conference in Baghdad, a TV journalist named Montadar Al-Zedi famously hurled his shoes at President Bush. While Bush dodged the flying footwear, Perino was not so fortunate. In the chaotic aftermath, as people scrambled to apprehend Al-Zedi, she was struck by a microphone stand, injuring her eye. The incident created a frenzy that captured headlines worldwide, embedding Perino's name in a moment that was equal parts shocking and surreal. Once Bush's time in office ended, Perino transitioned smoothly into the media world. She became a political commentator for Fox News and took on the role of co-host for the talk show The Five. Her visibility grew, and before 2010 wrapped up, she was nominated by President Barack Obama to serve on the Broadcasting Board of Governors, a government agency responsible for international broadcasting. This nomination reflected a bipartisan respect for her talents and experience, adding another layer to her already diverse career. Beyond politics and news, Perino dipped her toes into entertainment, appearing on an episode of Jeopardy! During the Power Players Week in May 2012. It was a glimpse of her versatile personality, someone comfortable juggling many hats. That same year, she began teaching part-time at George Washington University, focusing on political communications. By the next year, she'd stepped into the role of editorial director at Crown Publishing Group, a Random House subsidiary, expanding her influence in the literary world. From there, Dana Perino became a familiar face on Fox News, eventually launching her own podcast in 2016, called Perino and Stierwalt. Co-hosting with political analyst Chris Stierwalt, the show became a weekly must-listen, especially after Stierwalt's unexpected departure, following the 2020 presidential election. Not one to slow down, Perino also guest-hosted Gutfeld, Fox News late-night talk show, taking over for the show's original host, Greg Gutfeld, up until 2023. It was clear she was carving out a unique space for herself as both a media personality and political commentator. In 2023, she introduced a new podcast titled Perino on Politics under Fox News Radio, strategically timed for the 2024 election cycle. That same year, she stepped into the spotlight as the moderator for the second GOP presidential primary debate on Fox Business. Alongside co-moderators Stuart Varney and Ilya Calderon, she pushed the candidates with tough questions, sparking one of the more memorable moments of the night. When she challenged the candidates to eliminate one of their rivals from the race, Chris Christie was the only one who accepted, though he chose to keep his pick a secret. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis rejected the notion outright, calling it disrespectful, a sentiment echoed by others. That moment alone highlighted Perino's ability to stir the pot while maintaining respect and professionalism. Off-screen, Perino's personal life was just. Though they never had children, Perino embraced her role as a devoted fur mom to her Vizsla dogs, first Jasper, who passed away in 2021, and then Percy, who became the newest member of the family. She openly shared these moments with her audience, showing a warm and relatable side beyond the political stage. Most people may not realize that Perino is also a published author. Her book, And the Good News Is, released in April 2016, offers a candid glimpse into her life working in the White House and the lessons she learned navigating a challenging and male-dominated industry. She emphasizes the importance of young women building meaningful relationships early on, not just networking for favors but fostering genuine connections. In interviews, Perino has spoken about how she kept in touch with colleagues long before social media existed, sending handwritten postcards during holidays and special occasions. This authentic approach to relationships proved invaluable, especially during times of crisis. During the 9/11 attacks, for instance, she reached out to a close friend working in the Justice Department who was connected to then Attorney General Ashcroft. These networks of trust and communication played a vital role behind the scenes, showcasing how Perino's personal dedication extended well beyond the public eye. Her journey remains a compelling story of resilience, determination, and the power of staying connected in the ever-shifting world of politics and media. Back in the day, before the Department of Homeland Security even existed, the Justice Department was left to handle all the pressing inquiries after the chaos. It wasn't long before Dana Perino's friend reached out again, urging her to consider moving to Washington, D.C., to join the team as the government's spokesperson. Though many remember Dana for her sharp tenure as White House press secretary under President Bush, what's often overlooked is how close she came to walking away. The job was relentless. Handling every terrorism-related issue was exhausting, so much so that she seriously thought about quitting on her very first day. Yet, she stayed. When Josh Bolten, then Chief of Staff, reminded the team to be upfront if the workload became unbearable, it was clear the administration demanded people who could push through to the finish line. Dana didn't back down, enduring grueling hours and immense pressure until the very end of Bush's term, earning respect for a job well done. However, she later admitted one of her biggest regrets was neglecting her health during those years, often missing out on precious time with her husband while battling exhaustion, as she carried the weight of the deputy role for over 2.5 years. Just before her official appointment as press secretary, she contemplated quitting again. But a timely call from Ed Gillespie, the communications director, changed everything. He told her Bush himself wanted Dana to take the role. Years later, when Dana published her book revealing her near resignation, Gillespie was shocked to hear this for the first time. Thankfully, everything aligned, allowing her to serve without disruption, showcasing a stellar work ethic and undeniable poise. Beyond her professional success, Dana's height became a surprising topic of conversation, especially after a recent photo comparing her to Caroline Leavitt, the current White House press secretary, went viral. Standing at just 5 feet tall, Dana looks noticeably smaller next to Leavitt, who is 5 feet 4 inches, above average for American women. But it's her commanding presence on screen that's left a lasting impression. Proving stature means little when you carry yourself with confidence. The Trump administration posed its own unique challenges, yet Leavitt quickly rose to the occasion, demonstrating a quiet but powerful strength and honesty. In a candid interview with the Daily Mail, Dana highlighted Leavitt's close relationship with Trump as a key asset, something many lacked. Dana has always stressed the importance of connections in this world, where everyone seems to know everyone. She foresaw how Leavitt's ties would benefit her, and she hasn't hesitated to stay close, even sharing photos of them together recently. Fans couldn't help but notice how tiny Dana appeared beside Leavitt, a stark contrast to her larger-than-life TV persona. But Dana has never let her height intimidate her. In fact, she recalls Tony Snow, a towering 6 feet 7 inches figure and her former boss, boosting her confidence by telling her she was more capable as a press secretary than she realized. That encouragement fueled Dana's determination to never be overshadowed by anyone's physical presence, especially in the competitive media arena. Dana also knows how to take jokes about her stature in stride. Her short height often becomes a light-hearted subject on her Fox segments and among her co-hosts, creating a warm camaraderie with the audience. Working in front of the camera demands looking your best at all times, but the arrival of the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020 disrupted everything. Like millions worldwide, Dana transitioned to a work-from-home lifestyle, which came with both benefits and challenges. The risk of slipping into unhealthy habits was real, but she was determined to stay fit. At 48, she revealed in an interview with Philadelphia Magazine that daily exercise became her anchor, helping her manage stress and the heavy demands of her job. During the pandemic's peak, she became more health-conscious, focusing on good posture and countering the effects of endless screen time with yoga and stretching. Meditation also became a key part of her routine, practiced whenever her schedule allowed, often just before dinner, helping maintain balance amid chaos. Turning to the broader picture, Dana's journey from a behind-the-scenes deputy to one of the most recognized press secretaries highlights a story of resilience and adaptability. Despite physical limitations that might have seemed a disadvantage, she carved out a niche where determination mattered far more than height or appearances. Meanwhile, Leavitt's rising star reflects a new generation stepping into roles shaped by complex political landscapes, relying heavily on alliances and quick thinking. Together, these stories underscore how connection, grit, and self-care intertwine to sustain careers under relentless public scrutiny. When it comes to luxury and finances, Dana Perino's lifestyle offers intriguing insights. Over the years, she has been seen driving luxury vehicles such as a sleek Audi A6, and has been spotted sporting high-end watches like the classic Rolex Datejust, timeless pieces that balance style and professionalism. Her real estate portfolio includes a well-appointed home in Washington, D.C., known for its prime location and tasteful elegance, though she keeps her private jet use minimal, relying more on commercial flights for her travels. Beyond media, Dana has ventured into several entrepreneurial projects, including public speaking engagements and book deals, which have significantly contributed to her wealth. She's also invested wisely in diverse stocks and mutual funds, ensuring steady growth and financial security. On the insurance front, Dana has maintained comprehensive health coverage and asset insurance, recognizing the importance of protecting both her well-being and her career assets. And let's not forget those unforgettable moments about her height and that unstoppable spirit. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Hollywood's behind-the-scenes stories, don't forget to hit that like button, drop a comment with your favorite Dana Perino moment, and subscribe for more insider scoops. Up next, we're uncovering another star's jaw-dropping rise and the secrets behind their success. Remember, in the world of fame, it's not just about how tall you stand. It's about how big you shine.